Yeah, this video is for undergraduate philosophy students, irrespective of your location. Um, Survey has shown that just about, especially in Africa, also limit this to the scope of study to Nigeria right now because that seems to be an area where I'm familiar with. About 4-5% of students, philosophy students, actually chose philosophy when applying for university admission. Majority, like myself, chose a different course, but philosophy was given. So when the admission offer came and you're like wondering what is philosophy, the first thing to do is just to go on Google, check. Oh, philosophy. Oh, quest for knowledge. Oh, pursuit of knowledge. Okay, knowledge. All right. So the next question will be, what am I going to do with a certificate in the field of philosophy? That majorly was my first encounter. I don't know about yours, but for me that was it. I couldn't definitively, say what I could do despite my research then. However, I ended loving the course, and after my degree, I decided to go for another degree in a different field of knowledge. Now, higher level, that's the master's level. So I chose public administration. I started my public administration journey, and it was quite interesting moving from philosophy to different, part of knowledge. Now you are now beginning to talk about people, how people work, how people relate, talking about government accounts in the public sector particularly. And I started seeing the practicality of philosophy, playing itself out in this field of knowledge. Philosophy majorly dwells more on the theory, knowledge, pursuit of knowledge, search for knowledge, what is right, what is wrong, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. When you talk about ethics and logic, the way you think, which I think is very, very, very important. Critical thinking is encompassing. No career, no field, no profession um, would throw away critical thinking, which was a course in philosophy, and that helped us, myself and few of my colleagues that I ended up with after my master's in public admin. I now went for master's in philosophy. So this crop of people, I was able to deduce. Mind you, this most of us were working. You know, they had jobs they were doing, and they were bringing the practical knowledge into the classroom. However, because philosophy majorly is theoretical, because when you talk about the metaphysics, epistemology, the part that I think is for anyone that wants to venture into other field of knowledge or career path is ethics. Now we have professional ethics, academic ethics, ethical conduct. You hear people talking about that, which was what I actually, delve into majorly. And I wrote my project in ethics because I wanted something that would, having done my master's in public administration, I gained quite, practical knowledge from that angle, and I brought that to philosophy. Um, when I was doing my master's, it now became somewhat palpable. Philosophy is something more of abstract. Why? It was like I was feeling something because why? Of that ethical part of it. So ethics is one of the most relevant parts of ethics philosophy. I beg your pardon. That This is not to disregard all other branches of philosophy, but ethics is an area that is open to almost all parts of profession. All professions are their ethical conducts. Yeah, they do. Medical, IT, HR, any technical field that you can think of as a technical or ethical code of conduct. And it was at this point that I felt after graduation that there was need for me also to, because I'm quite adventurous, and which is what philosophy will prepare you for, that foundation. That quest for knowledge. You just start thinking, and when you think so much, it pricks your curiosity, and you want to know, you want to pursue. That is one of the foundations that I feel philosophy prepared me for personally. Now relaying my own personal experience from the undergraduate surgeon to where I am right now. And I began thinking about IT. So I took up a course in IT. Then it was database, Oracle database certification. So I enrolled, started the class. It was quite interesting. And now the knowledge of logic that you've learned in logic will be very, very instrumental in this part, because now most programming languages that are out there, like Python, Java, C++, um, R programming, and the likes, HTML, CSS, you would always find these logical reasoning in them. Sometimes I just think and I like, for these people to, whoever, initiated these programming languages would have started from idealism. Because idealism is something you can't really touch. It's just there, it's just an idea, and they brought it to fruition. When it became practical, it has left the realm of idealism, though it started from there, and it has now got into the realm of materialism. Because now, barely all you do, the device I am using in recording this talk is a mobile device. A lot of programming languages would have gone into them to produce this beautiful output. So I did my IT. I started learning, I was applying my logical knowledge, the reasoning into it, building a database, managing a database, doing backups, in Oracle. So I finished and I studied. I did my certification in SQL. It was fine. I did in OCA, Oracle Certified Associate. In short, I scored 100. That was my result. I want to emphasize that again, that the foundation you are getting in philosophy, if you are taking it seriously, because my philosophy I graduated with 2-1. I'm not here to talk about grades, but you must give yourself into it. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So don't be bothered so much about what you do with your certificate, but what you can give in the area of critical reasoning, in the area of ability to think out solutions, ability to analyze issues. And also, I don't know how philosophy syllabus are in outside Africa, particularly outside Nigeria, but within Nigeria, I think there is need for us to also tweak the syllabus a bit for people like us that we've gone to the world of works, delve into other field of knowledge. There are some areas that I think we should bring into it to give students especially undergraduates, some level of comfort for them to be able to relate the knowledge directly to human affairs. So I did that. I got a job as HR and admin personnel, and for me, the ability to think, apply reasoning, either deductive or inductive reasoning to all situations stood out for me. So again, out of my curiosity, you know, I started thinking about the field of HR. For me to be a professional in this field, for me to be respected, someone that knows what he's doing in the field of knowledge and among his peers, I took up a certification course, studied, attended classes, and came out with. I did all the exam once. I didn't fail any. It was something that I initially talked about ethics. You see them playing come into fall. You see knowledge of the law coming into play. Philosophy of law we did. I wouldn't know if the course is still being done at the undergraduate level. Philosophy of law. You start seeing the labor market and how the labor law is playing a trajectory role within that space. So I did that. After my certification, because the company, the industry I was an insurance industry, and because I was also the one anchoring the weekly in-house training programs for my company, I felt there was need, which is what philosophy. I don't know for others, but for me, that curiosity, when people use words you know, that sometimes are only known within or among some people. For example, the technical people, the insurers per se, and you start asking questions. Oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Even as the anchor of the training sessions. So I started reading on my own. That is philosophy for you. Search for knowledge. So I felt the reading was not encouraging enough for me because I was not. There was nothing for me to. There was nothing to challenge me. You know. So I took up another certification in CIN. However, the initial goal was just for me to pass the first stage. There were three stages: first, second, third. I think there were about four courses. So the initial goal was just to pass the first stage. Now, after passing the first stage, at least the required knowledge for me to function within that space, particularly part of my JD was training and development. So I wouldn't want to be in a gathering where I'm facilitating and they're using some terminologies, some scenarios that I won't be able to, comprehensively contribute. So I took another course. I passed the first stage, I passed the second stage, and I felt, wow, it became very interesting. That is one attribute of delving into other areas of knowledge. When you learn new things, you get enthusiastic about it. And that enthusiasm will push you further, which was what happened in my case. So I felt there was nothing to lose actually. So I did the final stage, which was very difficult because there were a lot of calculations. Like I told you, don't be scared of calculation. Take your logic seriously. Your courses in logic, they will help you a great deal. Take your courses, ethics, learn them. Don't just learn to pass. I'm not telling you, oh, you must have good grades in this because nobody will check these grades when you're out of school. in a particular course. They check your grade as a whole. So the other areas of knowledge, epistemology, the metaphysics, please take them seriously as well. But if you're thinking of other areas of knowledge that you want to delve into, the knowledge of logic will always come into fore. If you want to become a programmer, I'm a programmer. I'm still going to get to that. Will be very instrumental in these areas. So after my graduation, I became chartered. Um, so I felt also because I was part of different ad hoc groups, teams within my company that um, management would just, put together to achieve a task. And the first time I ever attended management meeting, because my boss was not available, I had to prepare myself for it. I did well. And one of my bosses I could remember came to me and was like, "Oh, I didn't know you could actually present that way." Um, I won't take all the glory for that because my academic masters, that's my MA masters in philosophy, we had to present virtually all our courses in University of Lagos. So the ability to face people and speak from my hand was enhanced. And before that, I'm I'm not sure there was any time in my undergraduate days that I had to face the crowd to speak in the class. Maybe once, group assignments. I'm not sure I was the one that spoke, but sometimes in class the lecturer would call you to respond to some questions. Yeah, I think I did maybe one or two, maybe. But undergraduate, you have to face master's degree level. I beg your pardon. You have to face the class, defend your seminar papers that you've written, be it in group. The only group I was the one, I was supposed to be the supporting speaker, but I ended up being the speaker because I felt my team was not doing well. So after that, because of the hardcore ad hoc committees that were, and I was delivering on little tasks, with deadlines, I felt there was also need for me to go into the field of project management. Before that, I had a friend that did PMP, though we did our masters together in public administration, and he's also a chartered human resource personnel manager. So I felt PMP was a bit too technical, more like for the engineers. Prince 2, I felt, yeah, would be beneficial to my career path. So I delved to Prince 2. I did the foundation. I did the training. Then I wrote the foundation examination. I passed. So the knowledge from it, I started applying it on the job. I started taking, training and development um, programs are actually project based because it must have a beginning and end date that you must send a personnel, out for external trainings, prepare. So when you take it up as a task that has a start and end time while you still doing your job, then it's a project on its own. Coupled with my hard work committee, so my outputs were a bit professional in all dimensions. I can remember there was a time my boss told me if I was to leave the department, she would be employing a philosophy graduate or I should get someone that studied philosophy. And I said, no, I don't think we should generalize in that manner. I think it's individual sensitive. That was why I said study philosophy, not just to pass, because the knowledge will be instrumental after school. And I've told you two areas I personally, this is my subjective view, ethics and logic. Those are the two areas that I think excellence, you know, has excellent value for applicability outside the school environment. So I did that, and 2 years later, I did the second stage, which was the final stage for Prince 2, and I am now a professional project manager. So in all of this, philosophy is the foundation that took me this far, and also can take anybody to all areas of knowledge. I kept telling my friend that there is virtually no area of knowledge that I can't venture into because of my knowledge of philosophy. Philosophy is the mother of all courses. When they say philosophy is the mother of all courses, it's not just uh, for the sake of it. You look at philosophy of science, philosophy of law, philosophy of language, all of those. Look at me talking about how programmers would have conjured their programming languages without it coming from the area of idealism. Yeah, you understand basics of life and knowledge. You'll be able to analyze and solve problems. You'll be able to provide solutions. You'll be able to think logically, pragmatically. You'll be clear in your thoughts, and your details will be robust. So, study hard, come out with good grades, and I'm sure with my own experience, you can venture into other areas of knowledge with your philosophy background. Okay, I also would like to mention that my friend also did philosophy as an undergraduate, master's in philosophy, and is now a business manager. He does marketing. He is a fantastic marketer. He does a bit of marketing and IT from philosophy. So if you give yourself over to it, get the required knowledge, the foundation for it, you can work anywhere. Public, private sector, even IT firm. You can function wherever knowledge, critical reasoning, knowledge are required. You'll be able to function there. I hope this video has helped one or two persons to address those questions, burning questions in you that you are yet to find answers as to um, the relevance of philosophy as a course of study. Thank you. Please do well to like my video, subscribe to my channel. I'll be recording more videos on philosophy and other areas of knowledge that will be beneficial to you. Thank you.